Hello and welcome to Community of Christ Temple and its wonderful Cassavant pipe organ built in 1993. Anytime you look at a pipe organ, you're only seeing maybe a quarter, if you're lucky, of the entire instrument. Most pipe organs' pipes are mostly hidden. This pipe organ has 5,685 pipes, and they're all different shapes and sizes. Often I get questions about what all these knobs are for. People see them being pushed and pulled in and out, and sometimes you see them happen almost as if by magic. The console of the pipe organ is a very complex piece of machinery, and that's what makes it so fun. Not only do you have to play with both your hands and your feet, you get to decide what kind of instrument you want to be. So for instance, if you decide you want to be a trumpet player, on this organ, you can be a lot of different kinds of trumpet players. Here's a trumpet for this keyboard. And then on this organ, if you want a quiet trumpet, you can have this one. And that one's in a room. I can close the doors or the windows to that room and make it even quieter. And then the one that everybody has a question about are right above my head. And this is the best spot to hear these trumpets. My goodness, they are majestic and beautiful. To hear the glorious sounds of all of the trumpets and all of the other kinds of pipes in this pipe organ. I hope you enjoy Marcel Dupre's Prelude in B major. going to take a journey now to places that most people never see. I do encourage you, though, to come when we can gather again, to come to Community of Christ Temple and experience this organ in person. But through the virtues of technology, I can take you today to some of the places that you would never see even if you came here in person. You'd certainly experience the sound of this organ, though. Let's take a journey. We've just come up from the bottom floor to the main floor of the organ, and there is so much to see here. First, let's look at some of the pipes that we can see here. These are pipes that are part of the grand orgue, the main part of this organ, and the resonance division. And as you can see, pipes are all different shapes and sizes. These happen to be made out of types of metal. Those in the front are called chimney flutes because they have a chimney at the top of them. Behind us, there are more flutes made of wood. And as I said, all different shapes and sizes. There are some of the smallest of this set of wooden pipes, and a ladder to get to them to tune them all. This may not look like much, but this is the essence of this organ. It's called a tracker instrument, which simply means that every motion of my fingers on keys or my feet on pedals is telegraphed to the valve at the bottom of the pipe that I want to speak via mechanical rather than electrical means. And the way that's done is through these pieces of wood called trackers. These are made of balsa wood because balsa wood is strong and yet light. They're very thin, very skinny, but can be very long. What if the pipe that I want to communicate with is 20 feet up and 10 feet over? How can I communicate with mechanical means? Well, behind these trackers are things called roller bars. The roller bars are the way that I transmit motion horizontally. So a tracker can be connected to a roller bar. So when this tracker is moving down, it's transmitting motion across. So by this down and across motion, this very complex piece of machinery can operate. Johann Sebastian Bach would have been very familiar with trackers. The instruments that he played were all mechanical or tracker instruments. He would have been very familiar with organs of this size even, with 32-foot pipes at their base. But he would not have been familiar with the electricity that allows me to do many of the things that I do. One of those things is to show up in a COVID-closed building and record a recital without anyone else here. I don't need anyone to pump the air that's needed for the organ to work. We have blowers that do that now by virtue of electricity. Bach would have had assistants. This next piece was written by Johann Sebastian Bach to show what a single person can do at the console. I can play with my hands and feet, and you'll see that in this trio sonata movement, you'll see the trio of my right hand, my left hand, and my feet playing 3 different parts. It's the flute pipes of this organ that are featured in the next piece by the French composer Louis Vierne. So some of these wooden flutes that are behind me and some of the metal flutes that I showed you earlier. It's a gorgeous piece, originally written and dedicated to his daughter Colette. It's based on a French lullaby, Dodo l'enfant do, which just means sleep, sleep, baby, sleep. The longest pipe in this organ is this one, 32 feet. And here you can see from the back that very longest pipe in the organ. And you'll notice that there is a ladder right in front of it. Someone has to climb that ladder to tune that pipe. Some pipes are enclosed in rooms that have doors, And that's the way that we get these pipes to sound softer and louder. These are the pipes of the positive division of this organ. The positive has some of the smallest pipes in the organ. You can see them just there beyond the bench. The speaking length of them are just about the size of the fingernail of your little finger. These slats are movable. I move them with a pedal that looks like a gas pedal at my feet. So when I close these slats, the pipes in this room sound softer. Here is a rank of trumpet pipes. As you can see, from very small to very long. Too long, in fact, for my camera to be able to see in one shot. And it's these trumpet pipes behind me that are featured in this next piece by the French composer Eugène Gigoux. He wrote this piece called Dialogue for the Grand Choruses to show the different rooms full of pipes. So you'll see my hands move from manual to manual, and the very first thing that you'll hear are these trumpet pipes that are behind me. I told you that I would show you the blowers. For that, though, we have to go to a completely different room. The blowers are far removed from the musical parts of the organ so that their sound doesn't interfere with the musical sounds that we make. So here, just beyond the balcony, is a door that's normally closed. We walk through a storage and utility room to another door that's normally closed. And we see here the blower room for the organ. A low pressure blower and a high pressure blower, and reservoirs and wind lines that lead to the organ above. I'm going to end today's concert with two pieces that I'm requested to play all of the time here, and they both fit this organ very well. The first piece wasn't originally written for organ. It was written for a small orchestra and choir. It was part of a larger work, a cantata by Johann Sebastian Bach. It's the 10th and final movement from that cantata, and it's called Jesu Joy of Man's Desiring. And then the final piece is the ever-popular Toccata by the French composer Charles-Marie Widor. Widor was an amazing composer and teacher and organist. And he wrote 10 symphonies for organ. These were originally for organ, but they used the organ as a symphony. They used the organ with all of its colors and sounds together in a glorious whole. So the toccata is a very popular movement. It's the 5th movement of his 5th symphony for organ. Thank you for coming to this virtual recital. I hope that you can come and experience this magnificent place in person sometime. Be well.